The Islamic Republic of Iran has asked us to continue talks. We have agreed to do so, but the United States has stated to them in no uncertain terms that the ceasefire is over. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump.
Texas, what are you talking about? That sounded exactly like President Trump. I couldn't even tell the difference. That was a great Trump impression.
Ha! Don't blow smoke up.
Okay. All right. What is your impression of this, Texas, of this post?
So my impression of that post is that he thinks the talks are a bunch of bullcrap. He's just like, yeah, sure, okay, fine. They want to talk to us. We can talk, going through the motions, whatever. We have agreed to do so, but the United States, but we have said to them, that's fine. We can talk, but we're not going to guarantee no boom boom. So have at it.
What do you think is going to happen? What is it? What is this going to look like on the ground?
I think that how it's going to look on the ground is that Jared Kushner and what's his name, Witkoff, they're going to be talking, and that the United States military is going to do their thing. Whether that means offensive or strictly defensive, I don't know. I don't think any of us can predict that. We don't know what Trump is going to be ordering. But I think that what it will look like is for sure defensive strikes if the Islamic Republic attacks us, 100%.
Okay.
All right. Now, if I can, I'll close out. I have some comments on this, but I'll close out. I'll let everybody get their twos in here. Jason G, go ahead.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
So I just seen a post earlier today where Trump was talking about that he's thinking about taking Kharg Island. And he told him to leave the oil alone, not to be funny, but he told him to leave the pipes alone. And he's weighing at that option to take Kharg Island. We know they just took the bridge out to Kharg Island. I honestly believe that Trump is tired of what they're saying, but politically, he's going to tell the press and everybody else what they want to hear, and he's going to do what he needs to do. Like, I feel like he's gotten to that point politically where he's proven that these people cannot be negotiated with. And so he's going to do what he has to do to take them out. And it's kind of my hope as well. Just wanted to offer that opinion.
I agree with that. Like, it's beyond a shadow of a doubt. Like, for anybody saying, no, we got to negotiate it, it's gone on for so long that it's become obvious. No one can say we didn't try to negotiate it. Some people that are in their echo chamber, they have TDS, I hate Trump. They're always going to have that opinion that's more could have been done, or it should have been done. There's always the what if, this other thing would have been better, the woulda and coulda. But right now, what it's looking like is that the table is being set, right, for this being done before the midterms. I think he said very specifically, I'm looking at it, ceasefire is over. Caps lock on over, exclamation point over. What does this mean? This could mean a return of the blockade. This could mean more military actions. It could be larger bombing campaigns, because everything that had to do with talks and ceasefire was about stopping those bombing campaigns. And I like that he signed it himself. He put President Donald J. Trump. Like, this doesn't come from a staffer. This isn't a message that we're putting out here. This is very specifically coming from the president. He very specifically put talks in quotation, and he very specifically said Islamic Republic, not Iran, Islamic Republic. So I think he's making that distinction. That's an important distinction to make from a legal standpoint. If you're like the commander-in-chief and the head of the administration, that's an important distinction to make. And yeah, caps lock, ceasefire over. Next to speak on this, we have Texas Drew.
Okay, so since Armin had asked me, what do I think this looks like on the ground, and it's bouncing off of Monkey here a little bit about the blockade. I think the blockade will come back. And as a matter of fact, I noticed earlier this morning, my time, U.S. time, that the Lincoln carrier was spotted closer to the shore of Iran than it has ever been. So I think that the blockade will come back.
Wow. That might explain the increase in oil prices. Let me see what we are. Oh my God, it dropped back down. What the hell? So we are at 75 again. Okay. Okay, I'll take that back because oil prices were going up. Now they're back down. Interesting.
Okay, so I have to quote somebody here. I have to quote Fleshy. Fleshy tells us oil doesn't care about strikes, it cares about movement. Maybe there's movement coming, and maybe the blockade does keep movement going. So oil just cares about supply being available, and strikes are affected a little bit, but not as much as we would think, because that's been
That's
a standard that we've seen. I would also like to go ahead to Nathan
well, that's what,
with our next.
that's why when Texas was saying that the blockade is different from the strike, so I was wondering if that had if that possibility had any influence on oil prices, because that's separate from the strikes. But yeah, good point.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Now go ahead, Nathani.
He saw an interview yesterday with Benem Ben Taliblu, and he was asked like reasons to be optimistic and pessimistic about the current flare up. So I wanted to ask the panelists what they think about this. So he said, as far as optimism, he thinks that Trump is very clear now on who he's dealing with, how erratic they are, how untrustworthy they are, and how unlikely negotiations are to produce anything of value. On the negative side, pessimistic side, he said that the U.S. military is constrained, or let's say the administration is constrained by what he called the 3 M's, which is munitions, markets, and midterms. I think that I remember Jeffrey saying earlier that this sort of MOU pause was a logistics, was at least in part logistics oriented. So maybe in the interim, we've had some progress on munitions, but we still have this markets and midterms coming up. So I guess my question for the group is like, what do you think we can accomplish in time to sort of manage markets and midterms?
All right, quick question, just because I didn't get it. What was the name of the person that you were talking about, or the interview you saw?
It's Benem Ben Taliblu. He's a Iranian-born
Yes.
analyst. He's a very good analyst.
FTD. He's from FTD. He's pretty good.
All right, go ahead, Armin.
I didn't put it too. I'm gonna see what other people have to say. So let's go put it.
Okay. I think personally, I'm not seeing a lot of twos here, so I'm just going to jump in here and give my comments on it. I think that having that 3 M's is it's smart. It's smart. I think that is very important. And I just agree. I can't say a whole lot. Oh, okay. We got some twos. Go ahead, Jeff.
Well, I'll just have to say that I'm much more in line with President Trump's approach towards the mullah regime than old Obama.
What do you mean there, President Reagan? The JCPOA was out of this world.
Well, I hate to disagree, but in any case, the MOU bought us some time to invest in revolutionary and disruptive technologies, not unlike Star Wars, to sit there and offset the cost exchange ratio the mullah regime remnants is trying to leverage. I think old Jeff Capella will be talking about that in the next one. Thank you very much there, President Reagan. I can't wait till we sit there and have the best lasers ever, shooting down mullah regime bullshit right out of the sky for a nickel.
Oh my God.
Wow. Three
Wow.
presidents in here with us. You got to respect that. This is turning into a fantastic show.
What happened? I missed somebody. Somebody came here. I don't know. I could do better. I had Mexican. It's muy caliente. It's hard to switch between them.
You got hacked by Reagan from the great beyond. Next to on this topic, we have Armin.
Yeah. So when it comes to you said the 3 M's, the markets, the munitions, and the midterms. The munitions, I don't know how long it takes. I know that the missile interceptors that they use takes years to build, but I've heard that you don't have to wait years because they already have some stockpiles all over the place, like in Europe and stuff like that. So they need to just maybe move some of them around. But when it comes to the midterms, well, nothing can change the timing of that. When it comes to the markets, I think from the three M's, this has been the least, impactful based on what the Islamic Republic wanted. I don't know. We're back at 75. I don't know what needs to happen for oil prices to stay above $80. Like, this has become really bad for the Islamic Republic. Trump removed the waiver, and oil prices were like, yeah, okay, we're fine. It just, to me, it seemed like the Chinese demand has dropped significantly. It seems like the markets have found ways around this. It seems like Saudi Arabia is desperate to sell its oil, so it's undercutting the Islamic Republic. It seems like the initial opening of the Strait of Hormuz flooded the markets with enough barrels, oversupplied the market with enough barrels, and now it seems like closing it or having tensions around it is not having much effect, because there's already too much oil in the market for this to be that important. It seems, at least me, I don't know, maybe this will change, but it seems right now the pressure from the markets is the least compared to these other two. If I had to rank them, I might be wrong about this, but I think the highest pressure would be the munitions. Again, I know the Americans have enough munitions to do this, but again, it would be irresponsible to not leave a cushion in case like multiple wars around the world happens at the same time. I think number one would be the munitions. Number two, with a huge distance, would be the midterm. And then number three, it seems like right now, is the markets in priority.
All right. Now, if I had to rank, I would put the munitions number one, but I would add a caveat. We are changing to a war economy. That means that the amount of resupply and the speed of resupply shifts dramatically from the amount of times it takes to create munitions without that presidential order, right? That means that we ramp up the production very much. It dramatically changes the time it takes to resupply, because it dramatically changes the time it takes to produce. It basically cuts down production time drastically. So I would put munitions first. Midterm, I wouldn't put it that far back. Why? Because the American public is getting sick of this, and the center right, who is who you want to motivate. The center left is very demotivated. They might not even come out to vote. So to win, what you got to do is get that center right to vote. The center right is getting sick of this war. They wanted to get it done. So I would put the midterms, yes, second, but a little farther up than I would put it closer than far away, right? It's important, and that might motivate us to do this. And yes, the markets, you want to keep them stable, but you've been able to keep them stable. So I would also place it at third. But to speak more on this, I would pass it off to Jeffrey. Jeffrey, go ahead.
Well, there you go again, Armin, championing. I can't do it, man. I got too much agita. Anyway, so the point is, forgive me, Gipper, I'll do better. So it touches base on a couple of key things, right? If we had not had radical leftists undermine U.S. production or expansion of unconventional oil and natural gas, we wouldn't be beholden to mullah lunatics. We could absorb the entire world's demand. Tragically, those people undermine that effort, and this is where we are. We're currently, as Sketch very rightly pointed out, building out our national defense industrial base so that we can have a greater production rate and or throughput than perceived or assessed attrition, right, in multiple theaters of war, which are coming. The other one, though, is that we're going all in on advanced revolutionary disruptive technologies that allow us to shoot down these threats and not have to get into a cost production exchange ratio kind of war. And that's with high energy, directed energy, with a particular focus on high energy lasers at scale, which is done by the Undersecretary of Defense for Science and Research. And thank God Pete Hegseth is there. To that end, I posted in the chat, although the hyperlink's too long, the most recent open intelligence report regarding the DoD's production of high energy lasers at the 500 kilowatt scale
to shoot down drones and cruise missiles, which means that we only have to use high energy or high end interceptors for ballistic missiles. And soon we'll shoot those down as well. So this is where things are at. The MOU was designed to buy us some time. The other part is, and I mean this, I know he means this. President Trump was trying to find a way to resolve this with the least amount of harm to the Iranian people. Tragically, the mullah regime has shown in no insignificant detail that they will fucking the parasitic ticks they really are. They burrowed themselves in so deeply that they're just gonna, the only way to deal with them is to burn them the fuck out. And even then, we're trying to make sure that we have the least amount of collateral damage. When Iranian people ask for President Trump's help, or say the free people in the world in general, he and we heard you. I promise you.
All right. Thank you very much, Jeff, for confirming what I said. I called it. Got a little backup from Jeff over here. We are skipping to a war economy. Things are getting done fast. Now I want to talk to Shauna. Shauna, go ahead, please. Talk.
I'm about to be music to your ears, Monkey, because I am just going to triple down on what you said. I've been down the rabbit hole of the agricultural hub, and I know this is very hard for me to translate without going through a whole backlog of history, but the agricultural sector has always been part of our war economy. That's part of how we win, is we keep our people fed. And they are doubling down on all of that. The federal government is heavily investing in multiple forms of agriculture, adapting to the changing climate. And I don't mean that in a big green hippie way. I mean, literally, we're having dry spells. It's just facts. And we are also just he's going full steam ahead on basically every energy sector that works. So in the Sun Belt, which is basically down in the desert for non-Americans, he's utilizing solar power. In my state, we're very pro-nuclear, and he's helping enhance that. He's getting the companies involved as well. Microsoft and Amazon are helping to invest. I'm sure there's other companies that I'm not aware of. Those are just what I was reading about. So yeah, it's a war economy on the agricultural sector as well. So full steam ahead.
Appreciate those comments. That is music to my ears. Great music. I'm over here like DJ Monkey, hearing the music, hearing the classics, and hearing the good stuff.
My name is Armin Navabi. I'm an Iranian political analyst with decades of experience fighting the Islamic regime inside and outside of Iran. Make sure you follow me for more, and also make sure you join our discussion group. I'm there almost every single day. Come talk to me there and the rest of the people there in our group calls. It's a great place to meet and talk to people who like talking about politics. The link is in the description and or in the bio. You could also get there by scanning the QR code on the screen. See you there.